are Tom Brady, Tom freaking Brady, Cam Newton, Cam Newton, Carson Palmer, Juicy A-Rod, Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, and Russell Wilson. All right, then your defense, your 36 defensive players at ends would be Ezekiel Ansah, Michael Bennett, Chandler Jones, Khalil Mack, J.J. Watt, and Muhammad Wilkerson. Your defensive tackles would be Geno Atkins, Calais Campbell, Fletcher Cox, Aaron Donald, Gerald McCoy, and Kawan Short. Again, Linval Joseph should be on that list. Outside linebacker Jamie Collins of the Patriots, Thomas Davis of the Panthers, Tamba Hali, Justin Houston, both of the Chiefs, Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, both of the Broncos. Inside middle linebackers, we've got Navarro Bowman, Luke Kuechly of the Panthers, boom, your other DPOY candidate, Clay Matthews and Bobby Wagner. Your cover corners are Malcolm Butler of the Patriots. Wow, going from Super Bowl hero to Pro Bowler. Amazing. Chris Harris of the Broncos. Never even heard of that guy. Josh Norman. Marcus Peters of the Chiefs. That's the guy that freaking, oh my gosh. Can you imagine if the Vikings' first round pick would have just been Marcus Peters instead of Trey Waynes? Like, oh, jeez. Way to go. Spielman's not perfect, okay? Man. Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman, and Aqib Talib. It's funny because remember at halfway point I did a breakdown in defending Xavier Rhodes and, ranked all the top cornerbacks. I got like 7 or 8 of them, and there was Xavier Rhodes. Funny, Josh Norman, Patrick Peterson, Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman, Aqib Talib, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 5 of those were on my list of the 6 or 7 that were better than Xavier Rhodes, so very nicely done. And then your safeties, we've got Tyrann Mathieu, who's out for the year now, Reggie Nelson of the Bengals, and Earl Thomas of the Seahawks, as well as Eric Berry, Cam Chancellor, and Charles Woodson of the Raiders having a phenomenal year. Special teamers, you've got Sam Koch of the Ravens and Johnny Hecker of the Rams. It's spelled Koch, so Coach, Cock. We're going Sam Koch. And then place kickers, we got Steven Gostkowski, Dan Bailey. Your return men are Darren Sproles and Tyler Lockett. And your special teamer gunners are Matthew Slater from the Patriots and Justin Bethel of the Cardinals. So there is your entire Pro Bowl roster. Now, granted, that will change as some of those people won't go to the Pro Bowl because they got to play in the Super Bowl the next week. Others won't be there because they'll be injured or just don't want to go. So there will definitely be other players. That will not be the final lineup that you actually see at the Pro Bowl if, in fact, you're one of the 12 people who watch the Pro Bowl. But, in my opinion, to be a real Pro Bowler, you have to make this first actual official one. If you're a replacement, then you're a Pro Bowler with an asterisk. But that's just me. So, all right, speeding it up, getting league wide, some open mind spewing here as we continue with our football talk. All right, now continuing with football talk and doing it at a quick pace. It is Week 16 in the NFL. Our Week 15 results are as followed, which, by the way, I did good on finally again. I picked 11 of the 16 games correctly. Thursday night, we had the Bucs losing at St. Louis 31-23. Then we had on a Saturday game, so it might be a Saturday game this week too. Check it out. We had the Jets winning a close one in Dallas, 19-16. Sunday, kicking things off, we had the Jaguars lose at home to the Falcons, 23-17. We had the Bills lose on the road to the Redskins, 35-25. We had my Vikings beat the Bears, 38-17 in Minnesota. We had the New England Patriots beat Tennessee in New England 33-16. Houston Texans win on the road in Indianapolis 16-10. They take a one-game lead now in that division. Kansas City Chiefs stay hot 34-14. They win in Baltimore over the Ravens. Kansas City Chiefs, the last time they lost a game was when they played the Vikings and lost to the Vikings. They were 1-5 at that point, and they have not lost since. They won the first game of the year, lost 5 in a row, and then now have won 9 in a row. That is the largest winning streak following the largest losing streak of any kind ever. No one's ever lost that many games in a row and then won that many games in a row afterwards, is what I'm trying to say. So amazing what the Chiefs are doing. Panthers also doing amazing things. They remain undefeated barely, 38-35 over the Giants in New York. We talked about the big stuff with Josh Norman and ODB Jr. from that game. Seahawks beat the Browns in Cleveland 30-13. In Seattle, excuse me. Packers beat the Raiders in Oakland 30-20. Bengals win behind backup quarterback A.J. McCarron in San Francisco 24-14. Broncos lose in Pittsburgh again 34-27. Denver Broncos and backup quarterback Brock Osweiler have now lost 3 consecutive games after winning Brock's first 2 consecutive starts. He is scheduled to start yet this week again on Monday. However, I believe Peyton Manning is very close, if not ready, to come back. So, keep an eye on that situation. It's juicy. Then we've had the Dolphins lose in San Diego 30-14. That's pathetic, Miami. We had the Cardinals crush the Eagles, as predicted, 40-17 in Philadelphia. Eagles suck. I hope Chip Kelly gets fired. Detroit Lions then win Monday night 35-27 over New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. So, getting to then our standings. Actually, no, let's pick this week's games, and then we'll go over the standings. So we've got the Raiders hosting the Chargers tonight, Christmas Eve night. As your opening presents, you can watch some NFL football. Games in Oakland. Raiders are a 5.5-point favorite. Man, I don't like anything about that game. Oakland definitely to win it. Wouldn't surprise me if the Chargers win it. Wouldn't surprise me if the Chargers cover that spread at least. I'd stay away from that game gambling. But we'll go for the Raiders to win big, just mainly because we want them to. Then we've got the Redskins at the Eagles. If the Redskins win this game, that's it. NFC East is clinched. They're your NFC East winner. It's in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, for some reason, is a 2.5-point favorite. I'm going Washington all the way. They're a better team. Philly's not good. Philly's defense has given up 40 points 3 times in the last 5 games. Their defense is pathetic. Redskins' defense actually ain't too bad. I confidently Redskins. Why they're the underdog baffles me. All right, then we got Panthers, 7.5-point favorite at Atlanta. Panthers all the way, both sides winning and covering the spread. Bills, 5.5-point favorite, hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, let's take the Bills covering the spread and winning the game. Bears at the Bucks. Bucks, 2.5-point favorite. We'll take them both to win and cover. Kansas City Chiefs, 12.5-point favorite, hosting the Cleveland Browns. We're taking the Chiefs to keep that win streak alive. However, we're picking the Browns to at least lose by less than 13 points. Then we've got the Lions at home, an 8.5-point favorite over the 49ers. I'm not picking the Lions to cover that spread. I will pick them to win the game, though. Houston Texans are a 2.5-point under. No, okay. Houston Texans 2.5-point favorite in Tennessee at Houston. That's an easy one. Texans should win that handily, quite easily. Colts on the road in Miami. Miami's a 2.5-point favorite. I don't like anything about this game. Total coin flip. Let's see. We'll go Colts to win the game, which means they would cover the spread as well because they're a 2.5-point underdog. All right, Patriots are only a 3.5-point favorite in New York against the Jets, taking the Patriots both to win and cover. Then we've got the Steelers, a 10.5-point favorite in Baltimore, taking the Steelers to both win and cover. New Orleans Saints, a 3.5-point favorite at home against the Jaguars, picking the Jaguars to win that game. Packers, 4.5-point underdog at Arizona against the Cardinals. Cardinals did not look good 2 weeks ago against the Vikings. However, Cardinals are an exceptionally good team. Packers are not clicking on all cylinders right now. I'm picking Cardinals to win that game and cover the 4.5-point spread, although it might be more like a 3-point game. Yeah, you know what? Let's go Packers to cover the spread, Cardinals still to win. All right, Seahawks, a 13.5-point favorite at home over division rival St. Louis Rams. St. Louis, for whatever reason, always plays Seattle tough in Seattle. Picking the Rams to cover the spread picking Seattle to win the game. Vikings, a 6.5-point favorite over the old dirty bastard juniorless New York Giants on Sunday night. Definitely picking the Vikes to win that game. Don't know if they do it by more than 7. Giants got the worst pass defense in all of football, and and no Odell Beckham Jr. We're going the Vikes, covering the spread, winning by a touchdown or more. And then finally, in the final game of the week, I believe the last Monday night game of the season, as there is usually no Monday night game in Week 17, we've got the Cincinnati Bengals on the road at the Denver Broncos. Broncos are a 3.5-point favorite there. Oh, boy. Broncos defense at home versus backup A.J. McCarron. Gotta like that for the Broncos. However, their quarterback situation against the Bengals defense, we'll go Bengals to cover that spread, Broncos to win. All right. If you're in fantasy football championships this week here in Week 16, I know a lot of people are in that, or fantasy football semifinals, if you play till Week 17, good luck to you. I am actually still alive in 2 of my full season leagues, so hoping to at least claim 1 title here this fantasy football season. I want to say both of them go all the way till Week 17, so I got 2 weeks left, semifinals week for me this week. Send me your good vibes. Wish me good luck. All right, so a real quick playoff picture scenario overview, and then we will be done talking NFL football, squeezing just a tiny bit of quickie college football, hockey, and basketball. And then we'll be out of here. So you got the Patriots in the top seed in the AFC at 12-2. The 2 seed is the Bengals at 11-3. The Broncos follow at 10-4. And then your 4 seed would be the Texans at 7-7 with 1 game up on the Colts. Jaguars possibly still hanging in there if the Texans and Colts lose out and the Jaguars win out. They could maybe still win that division at 7-9. Not sure. But looking like the AFC South will just have the division winner. Well, it will just have the division winner. Texans with that game right now in 4. And then your top wild cards. We got a 3-way tie for 5 through 6, and I don't know who's got the tiebreakers. We've got the Jets, Chiefs, and Steelers all at 9-5. Really unfortunate that one of those teams is going to have to miss out. But so then your teams that are out of it are the Bills, the Dolphins, the Raiders, Chargers, Ravens, Browns, Titans. Yeah, those are your teams that are out of it in the AFC. Titans already did their coaching change. I believe if the Colts do not win their division and make the playoffs, Pagano will be gone, and I don't agree with that. I think even if they do make it to the playoffs, Pagano might still get fired. I think Jags coach is going to be okay. Texans will be okay. Cleveland Browns, Patine or whatever, he needs to get fired. Ravens, Harbaugh, he should not have anything to worry about. Chargers coach, he might have something to worry about. And let's see, Dolphins coach, they've already done their firing. They're under the interim. And Rex Ryan in Buffalo. No, so those are your only real teams in the AFC. 2 of them are already committed. It's open that we're looking for a new coach. We already fired our guy, and that being the Dolphins and the Titans. But I'd say Pagano's on the hottest seat, and Patine in Cleveland. And then whoever the Chargers guy is, but I'd say Browns and Colts there, and then over in the NFC, let's see, let's start with the seeds again. We've got your 1 seed undefeated 14-0 Carolina Panthers, your 2 seed 12-2 Arizona Cardinals, pretty much locked into that. The only way they're not the 2 seed is if the Packers beat them this week and then go on to beat the Vikings. And the Cardinals lose their final week as well. So Cardinals would have to lose out and Packers would have to win out. Then the Packers would be the 2 seed. But unlikely that happens. So Cardinals are locked in at 2. Panthers at 1. Then at 3 would be the winner of the North. Right now the Packers 10-4. Could be the Vikings 9-5. Unless the Vikings lose and the Packers win this week 16. That's the only way that it won't be for the division title in week 17. Week 17, Packers-Vikings will be for the division title unless the Vikings lose and the Packers win. Highly unlikely that will happen. I don't think the Packers are going to beat the Cardinals, and I don't think the Vikings are going to lose to the Giants, and both would have to happen for the Packers to clinch the division and the 2 or 3 seed. So then in the 4 seed, you've got who's ever going to come out of the East, which stinks. Right now, that's the Redskins at 7-7, followed by the Eagles at 6-8, and the Giants at 6-8. If the Eagles beat the Redskins, they'll be 7-7, 7-7, and the Giants could freaking beat the Vikings